years, you all remember who Malcolm is. Malcolm was our vice president when he decided to move out of the neighborhood to some god-awful place up to Kaipa, where he actually let him put up an antenna. So he really liked that idea. He's been traveling all over the world, doing a lot of different things, mostly sales and marketing and things like that. He's been in Ham. I first heard him give a talk on radio at a convention up where was it? Up in the middle of nowhere, 20 years ago. When I first got my license, he was there, and it was low power single sideband stuff. But Malcolm, I've known for a long time, enjoyed talking to and listening to, and he's going to give us a presentation on amateur radio and how it deals with computers and digital stuff. So without further ado, Malcolm Levey, KO6SY.
Everybody sitting comfortably. You know, I don't take prisoners. If I see you yawning, I shout at you. That's just the way I keep everybody awake. That's a way to keep people bemused. You want to walk inside and have a seat, or are you ready to run out when I start?
They let the Marine Corps in.
How many of you are operating on HF, shortwave? How many of you operate any sort of digital mode, PSK, CW, anybody evolved beyond PSK to JT65? Oh, a couple of you. Okay, interesting. How many of you really don't know why you're here? So, this really should say computers and HF ham radio development and its new developments. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the older techniques. I remember standing up here probably 15 years ago talking about PSK 31, which when it was new and we were all getting into it. Ernie and I were the first users of PSK 31. Remember Ernie? Where's Ernie gone? That's right here. Over here. Huh? Over here, right. 2000. No, it was before 2000. We used to have a PSK net, right? Right. It was only Ernie and I on the net, but it was a net. And, so a lot's changed since PSK 31, but the techniques still are very similar. How many of you have got a smartphone? How many of you use it for HF radio? Okay, one or two. Have you got iPads? How many of you got an iPad? Get in with the technology. How many use these for HF radio? How much do you use it for HF radio? How much? Unfortunately, I can't plug it into the sound card, but I will just quickly show you. You can't see it from there, but this is HF radio on an iPad. Tuning on the iPad with my finger. Anyway, that's what I'm going to get you excited about, I hope, tonight, talking about a few things like that. Those of you this side of you don't need to turn around and look at me. Really, the important stuff's up there. I know you love Muriel, sorry. He loves me as well, but you don't need to look. It's all right. So there are three. By the way, one of the things that we will do for anybody who's interested in the presentation, there's a lot of links and websites to go to. This will be made available. I don't know how it will be made available. Somebody here in the club will make it available. Or you can just drop me an email. It's ko6sy@soara.org. I do have a new membership here, so it still works.
We'll put it on the website.
Okay, we can put it on the website. I have to suggest it doesn't go on the website until after UMA. I will present at UMA something similar, and I'm testing it out on you guys. So there are three sorts of modes that are where you can use a computer for ham radio. Sound only. Just as long as you've got a sound card, you can connect up, demodulate the noises coming from your radio, not even connecting any wires, microphone into the computer, sorry, the microphone from the computer, picking up the audio from the radio. When you do that, you can demodulate a lot of different signals, believe it or not, in the digital modes. So we'll talk a little bit about some of that. Also with a computer, you can interface to your radio. You can control the radio. You can change its frequency. You can have it scan frequencies on the HF band that are interesting to you. How many of you still may do shortwave listening? You know, broadcast shortwave listeners. They've gone away. Where did they go? The techniques on shortwave have changed to the point now where we have perfect audio, no distortion, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then beyond the interfacing, and the interfacing is being used now a lot for software-defined radios. I will talk about software-defined radios a little, show you what's going on in that world, because it's the emerging business of radio. You know, back when I started in radio, SSB was new, and I bet there's a few of you around here that thought SSB was new. It was old ancient modulation before that, and now we had SSB. So that's just by the way. Internet only. So being able to control radios over the internet. How many of you have already controlled a remote radio over not your radio, but somebody else's radio, right? Okay. So we'll show a little bit about that. I'm not going to get into how to connect. You can go to the website. You can simply, as I said earlier, connect the mic to the speaker and so on, or direct from the jacks. There's an interface box that a lot of people find very powerful. It's from Tigertronics. At this point I'm supposed to do this and take you to their website. Right there. I have no connection with this company, but this product here is very powerful. If you don't have a great sound card in your computer, it has the sound card in it, and the sound card becomes everything for decoding the quality of the signal and also encoding audio onto the rig to transmit. So this little beast is pretty useful if you don't have a really good sound card in your computer. It's also automatically transmits when it hears the sound, so it's all done for you. Of course, you can go on and build your own interfaces as well. Right. So I wanted to talk about some sound modes that you may or may not have heard about. CW skimmer. Now, for CW, I can handle about 10 words a minute. Anybody handling 10 words a minute? It's pretty fast, right? So once we get above 13 words a minute, I need help. And CW skimmer, unfortunately, it's not free. You have to pay for this piece of software. Lets you monitor a whole segment of the spectrum and decodes all of the CW signals that it sees and types it out for you, pretty much like PSK31 would. So if you haven't heard of that, and I didn't want to spend too much time on CW, because you can decode CW with your ears. Most people, apart from me, can decode. Tax, you've read still pretty fast, Tax? 40 words a minute still?
I can do 14.
That's almost 3 times faster than me. PSK is now available on the iPad, and you all know that, and on your iPhone. So if you haven't got PSK on your iPad, or iPhone, or any phone, your old hat. So I think it's there for an Android system. So send a CQ, and the waterfall is here. And you can do that with a microphone, so you can hold the iPad close to the sound from your radio and start to decode PSK signals. I think it's a $2.99 application. Anybody bought it? Somebody's got it at the back there, so use it. You've got it. I got it on my phone. I got it here. I can sit at the one side of the seat on an aeroplane, and there's a hammer on the other side of the seat, and we can communicate. You can also, with the audio system in there, you can watch the frequency drift of the engines. Have you ever done this? Anybody with this? So the engines are changing in pitch. You can't hear it with you, but you can see the frequency of the engine. of the open. I get worried when I see some of that. RTTY is a fairly old technique, but it's a frequency shift keying, and it's still quite popular on the HF bands. So computer software is available on Ham Radio Deluxe, which used to be free. If you still have the old license, it's still free, but now they've got a new version of Ham Radio Deluxe that they want you to spend some money with. So, but it's available. You can do RTTY with Ham Radio Deluxe. It's a good program for that. I want to talk about some modes, and I was reminded that slow scan TV has been around for a long time. In fact, I think I have a little link to the programming capability. So this is what's called EasyPal, and it's a method of monitoring the HF spectrum, and downloading high-quality digital, high-quality pictures. Pictures on HF with slow scan have been a raster that, if you've ever watched it, it's a very slow thing. And in the old days, you used to have persistence on the screen, because by the time you got to the bottom raster, the top of the picture was already disappearing. So you have to have this picture persistence. Things have changed a lot since those days, and in fact I should have had a file here that should have opened that would have shown you that. But okay, what's it going to let me do now? One of the problems I have tonight is that the resolution of my screen has been changed to try and fit onto this very large, very modern monitor. These are all high definition. You can't tell they're high definition because of this screen going crazy with me. That, you know, as an example, we can click on one, and this is transmitted over HF. Some of the pictures get a little racy. You know, there's a lot of men involved in this hobby, and fortunately tonight we don't see too many. That's as racy as it gets tonight. What you're seeing here, let's see if I've got a pointing device. Okay, what you're seeing here in each of these pictures are stations around the world reporting the signals that they're seeing and putting them up onto a website. So if we take the top left, W3WVG is reporting that signal being received. And if I click on it, we will see where that came from and who it was. And we can go through all of this. So this is just a way of sending information about what you're receiving. If you transmit a picture, it's all well and good transmitting it to one person, but wouldn't it be nice to see who else received that around the world? And we can do that now with all of the modes. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can report back that you've seen it. You're doing shortwave listening now. And so all of these pictures are being reported on a website which is called DigiSites. And you can go there and you can see all of the pictures that are being transmitted. Let's try this again. So, and I'm told that on UHF, and I'm doing an HF presentation, our colleague at the back doing the video, there's already high definition amateur TV and digital TV being transmitted as well on HF, UHF probably. These transmissions that I'm talking about here are basically just picture files, just like a picture file that you would receive or suck in over the internet. So we're not trying to decode anything other than digital signals over the internet, and then the file is converted in the computer. Now another mode which blew me away